All right, and you talk about Funky Tuesday, brought to you by the Pottery Place right there in Fenwick Island. One of our great small businesses in the area, and we've got a guy here who knows all about that. Super Joe Pardo joining us. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning. How are we doing this morning?
We're doing good. How are you doing this morning?
I am doing great. It's my daughter's 5th birthday this morning, and we're having a fun time with some Minecraft stuff going on around the house. And cool. it's a great day in COVID.
Obviously, you didn't get the gift we sent for her 5th birthday. Son of a gun! Did it not get there?
Did. No, it got here. I much appreciate it. I appreciate the flower or edible arrangement. Thank you. Someone's got to thank you for
now,
it, right?
Now, I got to tell you, now right there, Joe, you just did something that's a great thing. Obviously, no coincidence, Joe actually tuned into the show before getting on the show, right? So you heard the edible arrangement thing. A giant mistake people make all the time is they have no idea what kind of show they're going into. Not that you know what this is.
Yeah, so tell us how Jesus has affected your... Have you accepted him as your savior? Yeah.
He's a great guy.
Yeah. God into your life. I hear good things.
If we were to ask who is Super Joe, who is Super Joe?
So Super Joe is a small business coach and consultant. I grew up in a family business that ended up being a $100 million company by the time I decided to leave back in 2014, kind of unceremoniously. And I have a big passion for creating and saving jobs and helping people, dating all the way back to being a little kid when I was about 6 years old, crying on my grandparents' floor because I didn't want to take over the family business. I wanted to be a child psychologist to help other kids going through divorce like I was experiencing. So, my roots of helping people go all the way back to being a rambunctious kid that didn't really, was trying to find his way in the world. But leaving the company in 2014, it was kind of unceremonious. It was a big battle between me and my dad. And, I was in line to take it all over. It was in the trucking industry. In fact, we had an operation in Salisbury, one of our locations. So not too far from you guys.
What was it? What was your business? What was it?
It was Pardo Truck Service Parts.
Okay.
So we were in the trucking industry. My family goes back in trucking back to like the 60s with repair shops, truck parts, trucking companies, brokerage companies, and that kind of stuff. So I was over it.
What were you in charge of when you were there?
So I worked my way up from the age of 6. I was like sweeping floors, counting inventory, putting stuff on the shelves, picking orders, all the way to working on the counter, to working sales, to becoming the IT director, and working all the way up to the COO of the company and implementing operations and technology, because I had the IT background plus the operations background of growing up, working in within the operations itself. So that's where I ended up, at the end was left as the COO of the company.
Got it. So when you said that, so you guys started out with this business and then you got in the tech part of it. So it sounds to me like you took this thing from what it was into the new era kind of thing and that part.
Yeah. When I got involved on the tech end, it was like in the early 90s. I always say I grew up in front of computers while the rest of my family grew up under trucks. So, it was implementing computers, like our, first, like actual computers, not just like text terminals and things of that nature. I was in charge of basically anything that had a chip in it, phones, fax machines, the servers, and all that, was all fell on my lap.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you find a lot of businesses now are reluctant to move forward and to get into that scary part of tech that they don't know about?
We don't know what we don't know, right? And the saying goes, like, what got us here is not what's going to get us there. Right. And one of the things I always say is that the old way of doing things is the building blocks to the new way, right? Like, you're not necessarily reinventing the wheel. You're just, taking how it was done and you're manipulating it to build something new out of it, right? And the new thing is got elements of the old. So, while we were able to take like our inventory, which at one point was at like $6 million in inventory across all the locations, I was able to, basically take a broken algorithm that we had in our pretty archaic computer system, work with the computer company that we had at the time, and get that to spit out numbers that enabled us to reduce our inventory from 6 million down to between 2.5 to 3 million, and that took about a year to accomplish. And that was without doing any kind of fire sale, any kind of clearance. Returned some things, but for the most part, it was just putting the right inventory in the right places at the right time.
And how did you know that? I mean, your background, or it was just something you saw and it was pretty clear to you?
To me, it was pretty clear, right? So it was to me, it's like, numbers don't lie, right? Like people have really bad concept of time and figure it like, oh, I saw Billy Bob yesterday, and it's like, well, according to the computer, Billy Bob hasn't been in the store for 3 months. And it's like, so it wasn't yesterday, right? And the computer knows that. With that said, I'm a big proponent, because of the experience that I went through with that, reducing our inventory over the course of a year. Because of that experience, I learned that, while some of these big companies, like, hey, like, how did Walmart get so big? It's like, hey, they followed the numbers, right? Like, it's not everything. But enabling the managers to manage and actually bring in the stuff that they want, not just based on the data, giving them flexibility and stuff goes a long way in not only making your team happier and getting them on board with these changes, but enabling, the customer base to feel like they're being taken care of as well. And it's sad because after about a year after I left, the company was sold to a big billion organization, and the managers that were there that I still talk to were like, yeah, we don't have like much input anymore. Like, at least with you were taking some of our inventory, but at least we had input on what we wanted to keep and what we wanted to bring in, and that a lot of that is gone now.
So when you got out of your family business, where did you go then? What did you do?
Man, Super Bulldog. I didn't know. I didn't have a degree, right? Okay. I started going back to school, and then somewhat quickly realized that I wasn't really going to do anything with it because I didn't want to go into management. It was about a month, and I started that before I left. But a month after I left, I found I was on a plane to Disney World with a friend. I'm running a race. You guys were talking about running earlier. I was running a race in Disney World with a friend of mine. We're on a plane, and I had just released my first DJ album at the time. I'm also a DJ too, but I was like, hey, what other podcasts can I get on to promote this album so we can raise some money for Give Kids the World? And he's like, oh, well, have you heard of this show? They all they do is interview entrepreneurs. And I was like, what? I never thought about podcasting in that way. Now, this was in 2014, so most people still had not even heard of a podcast before. And I was like, well, I know tons of people in business. But I was like, at the time, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go for the dreaming aspect, right? Because I was dreaming because I still didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. So the plane landed, and I pulled out my phone. I registered the domain name, the Twitter handle, and the Facebook page for Dreamers Podcast. 2 weeks later, I had dropped my first podcast episode. We hit iTunes New and Noteworthy soon after, which is put us on the front page of iTunes for podcasts. And then eventually went on to win, Best Business Podcast of the Year award, because as the show grew and went on, I started to realize what I wanted to do, right, which is write books, speak, help others with their businesses, and really focus in on the business part of it, because all the guests I was having on were basically entrepreneurs or small business owners. So it just sometimes it takes time, right, and you got to get good at speaking on the mic. You don't just be like, I'm going to start a podcast tomorrow, hooray! By episode 10, you'll probably be burnt out if you're not in it for the long haul.
No, man, everything you're saying makes a lot of sense. Hey, go back a second. You said something about Give Kids the World. What was that? Is that a charity you deal with?
It is a charity. I've raised several thousand over the years. They work out of Orlando, right? So when the Make-A-Wish is to go and to go to Disney World and Universal and stuff, that's where the kids generally go, is they go to Give Kids the World. So they get to eat ice cream for breakfast and just get to be kids for a whole week. So no doctor, it's a no doctor visit kind of thing. It's great.
Yeah, it's kind of like we have down here. It's called Believe in Tomorrow, Children's House by the Sea, a similar type of thing. That's respite housing.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they bring kids in and they get to come down and forget about everything. They bring the whole family and they stay at the beach. And actually, we used before COVID, we would have the kids come in the studio on Thursday. It was part of their trip. I don't know why they wanted to come in studio with us, but they did. It was fun.
Well, hey, they might be interested in radio. They might be interested in music, you know.
Maybe. So where's DJ Super Joe? Where do we get to see you spin?
So I do live streams once in a while. It's not a mainstay of my thing. I mean, I grew up. That was the second thing I wanted to be when I was a kid. Was a DJ, like listening to the nighttime, the club music that they would play at like 10 o'clock at night on the radio, like live from the club. Got me into that whole thing, and then it would be like 8 years. When I guess about when I turned 17, I was able to start going out to the different clubs and meeting DJs and getting in and all that. So it was, so for me, like I love mixing music. It's mostly mashup music, so different genres and stuff like that for me.
Kind of sounds like our playlist.
Yeah. Well, that's what you guys are playing the Les track. That sounded great.
Well, you're catching us on Funky Tuesday, so it's funk in the morning. So, and the rest of the day is the best of rock and classic and modern rock and a little reggae thrown in there. And we are the most unique radio station. I don't know if you're familiar with the area, Ocean City, Maryland, but
a little bit. I've been there a handful of times growing up.
Are you familiar with? You familiar with a place called Secrets?
No, I'm not. Though I heard the commercial prior to coming on here.
Oh, we are actually on the campus of Secrets. The owner of the station owns Secrets, and we are on that campus with our distillery and the radio station and it's nightclub and restaurant and bar. It's an amazing place. It's something to see, Joe.
Dream come
Super
true.
Joe. Do we have to call you Super Joe? We do.
Yes, you do. It's in the contract.
Yeah, okay.
You know what? Actually, I'm looking at it right now. I might have actually been there before. It's been around for a while?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
1988. Yeah.
I feel like in the early 2000s, I feel like because you have like an outdoor area, right?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Right, I feel like I've been there before with my mom, like back in probably like 2004 or 5.
Oh, you were the one. Okay. Yes. Oh yeah, we remember you. Yeah. Never forget.
Which is, we need you to settle your bill. This is the reason for the phone call.
That's why we're calling. So we're calling to talk about your podcast, your books, and different things, and also Super Joe. You had mentioned that with like businesses. Now, is that your job? Do small business owners get in touch with you to help them with their business?
Yeah. So I work with small businesses to help grow their profit and ultimately grow their business.
Okay. So you're like Marcus Lemonis or one of the Shark Tank people.
Yes. In fact, I do both of the Profit, Shark Tank, and Bar Rescue reaction videos on YouTube, which have been getting a lot of traction, which has been awesome.
What do you mean, reaction videos?
So basically, I break down and relate the information in those Shark Tank pitches in the Profit video, TV show, the Bar Rescue show, and I relate that back to entrepreneurs and small business owners. So like how they could apply that to their business, and it's a fun thing because like we also get to make fun of things that are like happening in the background or like why did they choose to have this kind of thing? Because I also have a experience in shooting my own TV show, so I have that background as well to kind of know some of the behind the scenes things that you might not pick up on when watching these types of shows.
Got it. I'm a big fan of actually all those shows. We've got what's his name, John Taffer, and we certainly talked to Marcus Lemonis and several of the Sharks.
Yeah, John Taffer yelled at you once.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, do you still have that? Do you have that clip? I've got that clip. Oh, come on, we don't have that clip. I've got it somewhere.
Oh, we have it.
I've got it. Taffer, where's Taffer? See, we're not.
Here we got it. I got it.
You got it?
Oh my gosh, I got it.
Bulldog, this is the radio, for Christ's sake. You're supposed to make people smile. You're supposed to entertain them. Do something to entertain them, for Christ's sakes, will you?
What an honor that was.
You know what? He did that. I said, hey, John, do me a favor. Can you yell at me real quick? And he did that off the cuff. It was awesome. It was awesome.
He's got a lot of experience there.
Hey, when you were just talking about something about your experience with film, and you make fun of stuff that happens in the background. The other, I don't know, a few months ago or weeks ago or whatever it was, I was watching the Shark Tank, and Damon John, I don't know, Damon, the guy from Fubo, he ate a product that wasn't supposed to be eaten. I don't know if you saw this.
Yes, the putty. I actually did a video of that episode.
Did you really?
What?
Yeah, it's a therapy putty. Pinch Me.
Yes. Oh, you remember that one? Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. If you
What do you
type in
think?
"Pinch Me Shark Tank," you'll find the video.
What do you think of the product?
I think I've actually used it before because they're based out of Delaware, and I worked at a nonprofit for a while where we dealt with a lot of traumatized youth out of Camden, New Jersey, and I think if it is the product I thought that I think I used, then yeah, I think it's great.
Well, hold on a second. You could ask the inventor of it. She's right here. Nancy, this is Super Joe. Good morning, Super hold on. Where's your mic now? Oh, plug this in. Hold on, plug this. Oh,
I just redo it. Just do it again. Back it up.
Yep.
Take 3.
Wait, why is it not plugged in? Is there a plug here? Where the hell is it? Oh, it's plugged into here. Hold on. Damn it.
This is why they make putty at Nutty Radio, Joe.
Isn't that son of a gun? Yeah,
He wears 3 hats.
Talk on this one.
Hey, things happen. That's one of the things about being live, right? Anything could happen.
That's
It was so good. Say hello now. There he is.
All right. Good morning, Super Joe.
Good morning, Nancy.
That's my super wife, Joe.
Yeah.
No way. Are you serious?
Yes.
Wait.
I was
Yes.
the one watching Damon eat that. It was the biggest, or put it in his mouth and spit it out, I should say.
Yeah. I used that as the thumbnail actually on the reaction video I did. That's hilarious. The title is that it tastes hideous.
Yes, that's it. It tastes
That was
hideous.
accurate.
That's you've actually inspired their new slogan. Pinch me 30, Joe. It tastes hideous.
just a smidge.
So, Joe, this is crazy. The way we found it was through your video, and I was like, oh, God. And I started watching these two guys. I go, I don't want to watch these guys like rip on my wife and bust her and do this stuff. And then I watched it. I was like, wow, I was really impressed with you guys. I was like, man.
Thank you.
It was, yeah. I mean, other than the goofy sound effect buttons, but other than that, Jim Kramer.
We're going to critique your podcasting.
Yeah. But I was like, your comments, you were spot on. I was like, this guy really knows what he's talking about in business.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. It's crazy. It comes full circle like that. I was wondering if I asked the producer how she found me, and she didn't answer the question. And maybe it's because she wanted to
Good job,
surprise
Mara!
me.
Just a little. We
Good
figured
job.
a little bit of a surprise for you, Joe.
There's something
That's
you
all.
should know.
That is awesome. That is awesome. I try to be. I consider myself a positive realist. Right, so I'm always looking at the real side, but I try to like skew it to the positive and finding the best in everybody and everything. And part of the super name is bringing the super out of the people around me. That name goes back to 2006 when one of my best friends. You guys were talking about who you spent time with the most growing up. One of my best friends, Matt and Jason, we'd spend all like every day after school at Jason's house playing computer games. And, he gave me the Super Joe Pardo name. So, Larry, he's great. He's down in Texas. And I have a lot of fun with him because he says things that I can't say, right? Or wouldn't say, or I'm able to balance out with it.
Yeah.
So
No. He's like the Big Al Reno of your show.
Yeah.
You got to keep control of Larry. But he wasn't that bad. I mean, he
right.
didn't make any bad. But I'm just saying, I was impressed with the way you guys broke it down, and you weren't just sitting there like what Mystery Science Theater 3000. I mean, you guys were really thinking about it, and the things you were saying made sense.
Well,
They really
thank you.
do.
Yeah, we try to break down. I try to break everything down so that it could be utilized for other business owners. So one of the things that this actually goes full circle back to when I left the company. After I left my family's business, I spent a lot of time on the elliptical, and while I was on the elliptical, I was watching pretty much every episode of Shark Tank. So it helped me like kind of get a better feel of the side that I didn't really know, as well as verify that the numbers don't lie, and getting justification on that end.
Well, I could tell you that. Nancy could tell you better because she was actually in the tank with them. But those guys are all 5 of them that were there are brilliant in their own way, right?
Yeah, superstars, and they make decisions at lightning speed with very little information at the time.
I was wondering about that because, like, I always say, like, oh, well, we don't know what we don't know because of the editing, right? Like, I mean, from my understanding, you're there for like an hour and a half to 2 hours.
No.
For a lot of pitches.
No, it's not that long. In my case, it was 45 minutes, and I think that's about average. I think there are sometimes it can go longer, but no, not that long. And of course, they do change things a bit in editing, but in my case, Mr. Wonderful was the first one to make an offer, and it happened fast with very little information. So,
wow.
I was surprised.
Wow.
He was just a laser beam of focus.
Yeah.
That's awesome. He really is. I mean, I watch him on YouTube. You get kind of like an unfiltered version of him there. He really, I think he's great. He could be really harsh at times, but he's doing it with love.
I just think the guy's an awesome businessman. I mean, he makes the. I mean,
he's no Super Joe Pardo.
He's not there to fall in love with you. You know, you made a point. Actually, you and my wife both. You said along the way, Joe, you like helping people. I mean, that is the reason she started Pinch Me, is to help people. And he's not into that. He's not into helping. He's into making money.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that is. But he's not afraid to give the advice, like to be, like I said, tough love about it either. But he is very much about the money. Even when you watch him on YouTube, like it's mostly about the money. That's the thing. You know, he said it once before. He said on Shark Tank, like, look, I like to send my money off and know that it's going to, make more money and come back to me and have more money friends. So, it just always surprises me when people are like, oh, well, it's only, $500,000 for, 5%. And like, how could, these guys are billionaires and millionaires. That's nothing. That's a couple of lunches, to them. And it's like, yeah, but it's still, they still recognize that it's a lot of money too. They make too many of those bets and they don't come through, then they're going to be in trouble.
They're going to be millionaires.
yeah,
or
exactly.
thousandaire.
Being wealthy to rich.
That's right. There's a difference there. Well, Super Joe, this was fun. I don't know if you have any advice for anybody out there, like say somebody from Pinch Me.
Fire your husband.
You get free airtime. Are you kidding? This is great. And so am I. This is awesome. Thank you, Secret.
There you go. Well, listen, so I want to watch if people want to watch the Super Joe Pardo show, you said there's a podcast. I don't know how often you guys are doing it. I'm sure they're all up there someplace, right? Go to the website.
Yeah. So pretty much if you just go to Super Joe Pardo, that's PARDO.com, and even if you spell it wrong, you'll probably still get there because I have I have too many domain names. You can get my books. You can get you can watch all the video reactions. You can watch my TV show. You can listen to the podcast. You can read the blog. You can book me as a speaker. You can check out the events. I do live events as well for both podcasters and other super entrepreneurs. And check out all the press. This will go. This interview will go. I assume there'll be a podcast version of this interview, right?
We'll send you a copy. We'll send you a nice copy.
No problem. It was like I said, it was a pleasure hooking up with you, and I'll talk to you later, Super Joe.
Yeah, let's talk.
All right, we'll talk. All right, Super Joe Pardo, right there, your business guy. The books, there's a bunch of them up there in the podcast, and he's going to keep busy. So we appreciate your time and keep DJing. I want to hear some of your new tracks. Can you send us the latest track? We're going to have Super Joe Pardo Friday.
Yeah, we'll give him a show.
Oh,
how about
man.
that? The Super Joe show.
I could do something. I don't know about. I can't do it this Friday, but let's get in touch.
We'll do it.
Nice.
Done deal. All right. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate your time. Good luck with your stuff.
Take care. Have a great day. Take care. Have a great day. Take care. Have a great day.